Hello, everybody. Good evening, everyone. How you doing? And a happy Sunday to you. So sorry, I think I'm about 4 minutes late. I'm so sorry about that. I had some internet issues or Wi-Fi issues. But I'm here now. So welcome, welcome, welcome to the 29th episode of the Chatting with Chichi show. And as usual, I am excited. I'm excited. So welcome on board. Welcome on board. I'm excited about this topic because it relates to all of us. It relates to all of us. I love to hold my pen. Yeah, it relates to all of us. How you doing? And Collie, Joy, thank you so much for joining. Good evening. How's your Sunday been as well? Good evening, good evening, good evening. So today, we're going to be talking about social media, our time, and comparisons, and I will tell you why I've kind of connected the three of them together to actually speak about it. So how are you guys doing? How you doing? Hi Kate, how are you? Good evening. Arami Day, good evening. How you doing as well? Thank you so much for joining. Happy Sunday, and again, welcome to the 29th. I know, number 29. Wow, 29th episode of the Chatting with Chichi show. And what is the Chatting with Chichi show all about? As I always like to just kind of remind us about why we're here today and what the aim really is with coming on here for the Chatting with Chichi show. And it's all about just, we're starting the new week. It's a new week. We are so grateful for this week. We are so grateful to be part of this week. We are so grateful to be given another chance. I think I look at it that way very, very well. We're grateful to be part of the race, and then we'll just keep moving. It's all about just resetting that button and keep moving, keep going, and never ever giving up. That's really what the show is all about. So it's almost like a little, not just a wake-up call, but a little reminder. There's nothing that we say here that is so entirely new, but what it does is that we remind ourselves of all these very important things that we can take with us into the week and get our week going and get our week fired up and just get our week starting with so much motivation, because you need motivation to be able to handle out the pressure out there and the obstacles out there. So that's kind of the aim for this. So welcome to all of you that have joined and all of you that are still coming to join as we go along. Thank you so much for joining. There's a lot of names to be calling out, but thank you, Chioma, thank you, Bukola, thank you so much. Good evening. I really honestly appreciate your time with me here today. And always, actually, I always appreciate your time. Today, we're going to be talking about social media, your time, and comparisons. And I'll kind of tell you why we're talking about this today. I was talking to youths today in church, and we were just talking about the social media and just things like that. And I learned a few things today from them. Actually, I actually learned a few things on Snapchat about there's a thing where in Snapchat, and I made sure that I pronounced that properly. I think it's called Strix. I think I got it right because Kenny was like, "You better pronounce it properly." Strix. It's called Strix. So every time it's almost as if on Snapchat you're counting, not that you're counting, but you need to have done at least one Snapchat or at least two. I think it's one at least in 24 hours or two in 24 hours. If not, you lose the number of streaks. So the aim is to continue Snapchatting so that you don't lose your number of streaks. And so I was thinking, okay, what's that all about? So I learned something new today. But the reason I'm actually bringing this up here is in terms of one of the youths was telling me how he does his is that first thing, as soon as he wakes up in the morning, he sends a Snapchat immediately so that he doesn't forget that rolling, he doesn't forget that 24 hours deadline that they have to Snapchat. And I thought, wow. So the first thing you think about when you wake up in the morning is that Snapchat. And I thought, okay, you know what? I'll talk about it here, but I'm also, we talked about it today with the youth. So I thought, let's kind of talk about social media, our time, and then I've slotted in comparisons as well. Hi, Yemisi. Good evening. Happy Sunday. How are you doing? Good. So that's kind of why this is the history why the topic is here today. And also, guys, it affects all of us. And it's important that in terms of social media has been here for, let's say, not more than 15 years. We've had the privilege of social media, not for more than 15 years. So, and what the thing about social media is, it is great. And we're not here to bash. This is not about bashing social media, because I know for me personally, I enjoy it. I love what I do through the platform. And it benefits us in one way or the other. The thing about social media is that when it works, it really works. So the key that we're going to concentrate on today is making it work for us. How do you make social media work for you as opposed to work against you? And that's kind of where I want us to look at today. So please, your comments are always very, very much appreciated, because I think for me, I feel the show is better off, we're better off communicating and chatting. That's why we call it Chatting with Chichi Show. It's not just me just talking. So your comments always bring up things as well. And share the video as well, please, if you may, if you can. Thank you so much, Yemisi. Yemisi has just shared it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So that's kind of that's the kind of gist of our show today. We're going to be looking at social media and how it can work for us as opposed to working against us. I don't want us to fall into that trap of, social media is bad, and so you just leave out the opportunities that you have on social media. Social media is great. There's so many great things about it. People have built businesses on social media and thriving businesses on social media. People have made great friends on social media, met great people. I know for me personally, I have met a lot of great people on social media who have actually gone out offline to hang out with them and just tap into each other's knowledge, and it's amazing. So there are very much great things about social media, and I think that's kind of what I want us to talk about. I want us to kind of tap into what makes social media work for you, what makes social media work for your time, what makes social media work for your life. Because what you don't want in life is, you don't want any of these new things that come up on the internet or social, some apps. You don't want these kind of things to affect your offline relationships. You don't want it to affect your personality. You do not want it to affect your human, the way you see yourself. And that is why it's very important that as we interact on social media, as we spend time on social media, we also arm ourselves. We also arm ourselves with the best weapons possible, actually, to protect ourselves against when it doesn't work. Because we don't want it not to work for us. We want social media to work for us. Anything that you do, you must make sure that you're doing it in such a way that it works for you. The time it starts working against you is the time to pause and stop for a second. Julian says, that's how we met Lady P. Exactly. It's through social media that I met you. I know, it's unbelievable. The number of relationships and number of friendships that are formed through being on social media. So it is not bad. The only thing with social media is knowing where to draw the lines, knowing what you're coming on social media for, knowing what reputation, what are you leaving on board on social media, what is your character on social media. And your character on social media should really be your real character. It's not about faking who you are. It's the best people that you can relate to on social media are people that are real, people that are genuine. You can see it through it. It's not, I know we take pictures and stuff, but you can see genuinity, you can see truth, you can see honesty through the pictures and through when people talk and stuff like that. So let us tap into how it works for us. I'm going to take that notification off immediately. Let's look at how it works for us. And that's exactly where, yes, Choma says exactly where to draw the line. Exactly. I think for the main gist of this is knowing exactly where to draw that line, knowing when it doesn't work for you, where to draw that line. It's key, because you must make sure that anything you're doing in life right now has to be something that works for you. The minute it stops working for you, the minute you're not feeling it, the minute you know that something is being, there's something is causing a detriment to something else, then you need to pause and reflect and evaluate. What is it I'm doing? How can I do this better? And then you move on. Because in all this, you're doing it for yourself. So that's kind of the gist about it. Hi, Akunsumi, how are you doing? Good evening. Happy Sunday to you as well. Happy Sunday to you. So that's kind of where we're looking at. So I'm going to break this into three. I'm going to break this topic into three. And the first part is that we're going to look at the way, because sometimes social media with life, time is flying. Life is flying. Or let me say time. Let's say time is flying. Time is flying. But your journey is moving. You're moving on this straightforward journey. You're going and you're going. But what we need to look at is that Distractions. We've got to look at the form of distractions. When does social media become a distraction to you? When does social media become a distraction to you? And how can you manage social media in such a way that it isn't a distraction to you? So that's the first part we're going to look at. We're going to look at how you can manage social media so that it's not a distraction to you. And then the second bit that we're going to look at is looking at our time with social media. That's kind of connected to that. So social media and your time, and then we're going to look at comparisons. And when we get to comparisons, I'll explain to you why we're talking about comparisons. So in terms of making sure that social media is not a distraction to you, what can you do? I think the first point, guys, is turn off your notifications. There are a lot of, to be honest, I didn't really even know about the notifications longest time ago. I never had them on. So I never really knew. And then one time when I now found out about the notifications, I turned them on. But I found myself always, as soon as I get an alert, I'm looking, oh, what's that? And I saw that, no, that's a bit too distracting. Because what you want in life, and what we're all adults, we're all matured. You've got your goals. You've got the actions that you need to take. It's all about planning your time. So the first point I would say in terms of not allowing social media to be a distraction to you is silence the notifications. Take the notifications off. When you take the notifications off, what you now do is that you now plan your time on social media. How long are you going to be on social media? When are you going to come on social media? And this is all in terms of so that it doesn't be a distraction to you. Because when something becomes a distraction, then it's detrimental. When something becomes a distraction, then there's an opportunity cost. There's something else that is losing on the other side. When something becomes a distraction, you are paying the price in one way or the other. When something becomes a distraction, it's time for you to pause and take hold of it and say, you know what, okay, stop for a second. Where am I going wrong? And correct yourself immediately. So the two main things I would say in terms of not allowing social media to be a distraction is in, excuse me, what did I say? It's in silencing all social media notifications. Take them all off so that you're not distracted in the day while you're doing your work. And then also plan your time. That planning the time of social media is so vital. I can't overemphasize it, but it's so important. And you know, another brilliant thing about when you plan your time is so that the time you now come into social media, yes, your notifications are piling up. You've got all those things that you now go back to and then go through them. But if you keep coming to them every second, then what was it that you're doing? Because you know, there's the online world, there's the offline world. You have to have that balance. You've got to have that. You've got to keep it in line with each other. Don't allow any to suffer from the other one. You can't do that. So the key is in making it, staying balanced. Plan the time. Say, okay, because sometimes, honestly speaking, and I read this somewhere and I thought that was very true. If you think about the time you think you spend on social media and the time you actually spend on social media are two totally different numbers. When I read that, I was thinking, do you know, that is so true. The time you think you spend on social media and the actual time you spend on social media are two completely different numbers. You will find out that when you really think about it, the time you spend on social media is way more than you actually think. So it's important that you plan that time and you also set boundaries around that time. If you're going to spend the next 10 minutes or the next 20 minutes on social media, then give yourself that time to spend that 20 minutes or so on social media and then go to the next task in hand. You don't want to spend hours just non-stop on social media. And of course, yes, there are many people that use social media as a business, and that's a different case because when you're on social media in the business setting, then that's your job, that's your work. So that's not causing a distraction. You see what I mean? Now, if you're going around to people's profiles while you're supposed to be working, then that's a distraction. So you've got to use, I think we've all got to use wisdom when we are in the way we approach social media, because at the end of the day, we want social media to work for us and not work against us. So if we can get rid of these distractions, if we can time ourselves and plan our timing, because really, if you fail to plan, that means you've planned to fail. So your timing on social media has to be pre-planned. It's got to be planned, and it's got to be, you've got to set time limits on it. And it does you good. And the key really here is so that it works for you and not against you. So those are the two things that I have in regards to social media. You guys, yeah, I just saw, I think Julian just agreed with me on that, silencing the notifications. Yes. And if you've got any other ways that you can avoid social media being a distraction, please share, so that people that come on board later on, or people that are still coming on board now, will be able to tap into these ideas. Because at the end of the day, we want social media to work for all of us. So getting rid of the distractions is very, very important, and that just includes turning off notifications and planning your time properly. Hey, Bishop Sam, my cousin, is here on board. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you for joining. And Stephanie, thank you for joining. Roque Posh as well, thank you so much for joining. Good evening and happy Sunday to all of you. So those are the two things I wanted us to look at in terms of social media and our timing. Those 2 points are key. If you can tap into those 2 points, if you can control your timing with those 2 points. Hello, Dr. Fida. I know with my glasses, isn't it? I do look like a doctor or someone very professional. She calls me a doctor. Okay, I'll take that title. I'll take it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Olayomi, thank you so much for sharing as well. And AG, thank you so much for joining. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome, welcome. So that's kind of key in terms of social media and your time. Set the time, turn off your notifications, and control your usage of social media. For business, of course, spend your time in there, but you know that you're using it for business, and then for other things, just control yourself and know when it works for you. When it works for you, tap into it and use it. And as we've said at the beginning, social media is a great platform, and I personally have met so many wonderful, amazing people through social media. Hi AG, and hi Basirat as well. Thank you so much for joining, and Ify as well. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, the next bit of social media that I actually wanted to talk about was in terms of comparisons. And the reason I'm talking about this is because a lot of times comparisons, people don't really admit it, but you actually feel it. It's something that you kind of think, okay, you start to kind of feel, depending on how you look at social media and depending on when you look at social media. The reason I brought this comparison bit was when I told you that I was talking to youths today and we were talking about social media. And when I think about social media and I think about the timing sometimes that people come on social media, this youth said as soon as he wakes up in the morning, that's the first thing he does. The first thing, he picks up his phone and then sends his Snapchat immediately. So I said, the first thing, even before you say a prayer, even because I was really shocked. I was like, the first thing? I said, no, okay, we got to talk about this. And we spoke about it. And my message to them was that you've got to create time for yourself first. It's so important. I wake up quite early in the mornings, and they're always like screaming when I tell them what time I wake up quite early in the mornings. And if you do see me on social media at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m., trust me, I have spent at least 3 hours doing stuff for myself. It's important, and this is where, and I'm very passionate about this, where this is, oh, hi, former Jonas, how are you doing? Good, you didn't miss it. Good. This is so important because, guys, we owe ourselves our time. We owe ourselves our thinking time. We owe ourselves our renewal time. When you wake up in the mornings, honestly speaking, you need to renew your mind. You need to get yourself into a place of, you know what? Into a place of readiness for the day. You've got to prepare yourself. When I was thinking about this this evening, I actually thought about an example, and I thought I would share that example. Do you ever wake up in the morning, and this is not out of an emergency or anything, do you ever just get up in the morning, just with your, you don't change, you don't brush, you don't do nothing, you get in the car and then you run to work? Do you ever do that? I don't think anybody does that. Nobody. I don't think anybody does that. When you wake up in the morning, you do get ready before you go to work. You get ready before you go to school. You get ready before you face the outside world. That is how it should be with our lives as well. In terms of getting ready, you've got to get yourself ready in life. You've got to get yourself ready every morning. And I'm not just talking about getting yourself physically ready, getting yourself mentally ready as well. You've got to get yourself mentally ready before you face the outside world. If you wake up first thing in the morning and the first thing you do is jump on social media, where have you created that preparation time for yourself? Have you prayed? Have you read, the things that you need to read? For me, I read the Bible. I make sure that I intentionally renew my mind. I make sure I spend that quiet time. I mean, everybody has got their own different routines. But do you actually have that routine is key. Because it's so important that you have those morning rituals, those morning routines that sets your mind up for the day. It's so vital. If you just jump straight into social media, what kind of things are you going to be thinking about? Oh, they're already doing this. Oh, she's already doing that. Oh, he's done this. And is that how you want to start your day? And that's exactly what I was talking when I was telling the youths this morning. And I said, create time for yourself. You owe yourself that much to create time for yourself. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Grateful Rachel. How are you doing? Good, good, good. You owe yourself that time to spend with yourself before you look at anything else outside there. Renew your mind, spend your time, your thinking time. You remember we talked about thinking time some weeks ago. Spend your time, think, read something, stretch, it's personal devotion. Yes, it's very important, Sam says. Yeah, this is not just nice to have, but it's a need. Definitely. It's a need because your mind's got to be renewed. I can't spend my morning without renewing my mind. I've got to spend that time. And it works, and it does work. And I know it works for many people as well. So it's important that you do that. Personal time that you spend with yourself first, because you owe yourself this. You owe yourself this, and it's even a commandment as well, isn't it? It's part of the things that you do to renew yourself and stay in tune with who you are as a person. If you go out there onto the onto the world out there, without first of all preparing yourself, then you won't be able to do that. You would not be able to do that. So don't rush out in the morning. Get some time. Sasha, how you doing? Good evening. Spend some time and prepare yourself. Because as I said, you would never go to work without preparing yourself. So why go out to life without preparing yourself? Prepare yourself mentally, and then you're ready to face the world. Honestly, and those early morning times are times where you get loads of ideas as well. You get loads of ideas, you write it down, you put your plans into action, and you take it from there. Okay? Okay, Nehemiah says, thank you, as the enemy knows how to attack the mind. Exactly. So you've got to keep the mind very, very prepared. One thing and that's the reason why I said about that. You've got to arm yourself with that. Renew your mind so that when you get on places like social media or go out there in the world, you're not looking at other people or comparing yourself to other people, because you've already reminded yourself of who you are and whose you are. You've already reminded yourself of the promises that are for you. You've made declarations or you've said affirmations. You've decided what the day is going to be like for you. So you've really armed yourself with all these. So it will be very easy. It will be very hard to get distracted out there, or very hard to compare yourself. The thing about comparison is that it causes a lot of detriment to us. You erode your self-esteem when you compare yourself. I've heard that comparison has even caused depression. Yes. Yes. Ronkaposh says the mind is the battlefield. Exactly. And that's why we've got to protect it and keep it intact and keep it protected. Yeah. So, it causes depression. Yes. Comparison causes depression. You start to look at yourself as not enough because you're seeing what other people are doing. But guess what, guys? Everybody has got a race. Everybody is running on their lane. And I tell you something, and this is one thing that I want to tell you before we actually even end this show. Just if you can take anything out of this show, remember, guys, everybody is on their lane. Everyone is on their lane. Everyone is running their race. Even if you see someone that is so far ahead of you, don't worry. They are so far ahead of you on their lane. The medal they're going to get at the end of their finish line is their medal. You are going to get your medal. No matter how slow you are going to get your own medal. Please have that in mind. No matter how slow you are going to get your own medal. Anyone that you see in front of you now, let them go, because they're driving on their lane. They're going to get their own medal. But they're not going to go to the finish line and get your medal. They're not going to do that. That medal doesn't belong to them. So when you see people striving, be happy for them. Be happy for them and embrace it. Learn, and as I always say, success leaves clues. Tap into the clues that they're leaving behind. Look into routines. What are they doing? Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Your medal is waiting for you. Don't compare yourself to people. Instead of using comparison instead of comparing yourself to people, you can use comparison as a motivation, as a motivating kind of thing to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this. But don't compare yourself to people and then look down on yourself. No way. You are better than that. You have got greatness on the inside of you. You were not created to be ordinary. Please bear that in mind. You were not created to be ordinary. You are great and you have got greatness on the inside of you. Yes, Yemisi said, yes, exactly. Yemisi agrees. Celebrate other people's successes, honestly. Because as you celebrate it, you tap into different things that people are doing and you embrace them. And then you take them along with you as you drive in your own lane. But the key is staying in your lane. Because if you keep comparing, you keep changing your mind. And when you keep changing your mind, what happens? You don't even know whether you're finished. You don't know where you're going. You keep changing your mind. Stay on your lane, guys. And remember, your medal is waiting for you. It's not going anywhere else. It's really, really waiting for you there. Just stay in your lane. Just keep doing what you've got to do. And that's kind of where we tie all these three together. Social media can work for you. When it starts to work against you, look at your timing. Look at how it is causing a distraction in your life. Start to look at ways that you can stop social media from being a distraction. Make the best of social media. It's a brilliant platform, but you've got to make the best of it. Make sure that you're in charge of your time and that it's not in charge of you. You've got to make sure that it's not in charge of you. Make sure that it's not in charge of you and do what you have got to do to make it work for you. And when social media works for you, it's a win-win. It's a win-win when it works for you. But when it doesn't work for you, that's when there's a big discord. And then people are complaining, oh, social media. But you've got to make it work for you. If you can make it work for you, you would have nothing to complain about. I don't regret being on social media because I know I have met, I can't even start counting how many people are amazing. I have to use the word amazing people I have met through social media. So let's make social media work for us. That's kind of the key in today's for today's topic. Make it work for you. Silence all your notifications, set your time, plan your time on social media, and don't look at it. Don't spend even your first hour, to be honest. Don't spend your first hour going on social media. Spend your first hour for yourself. Spend your first hour renewing your mind, setting yourself up, getting prepared. Prepare for your life before you go out there. Prepare for your life before you visit online or before you go out there into the world. Prepare for your life because you owe you that. You owe you that. And you find out that as you adopt these things, as you do these things, you find yourself happier. You find yourself more fulfilled. You find yourself tapping into the ideas that God has given you to be able to go out there and do your purpose, to be able to go out there and do what you were called to do. When you do what you were called to do, you tend to live a more fulfilled life. And when you live a more fulfilled life, you tend to impact others as well. And it continues. Can you imagine a world full of fulfilled people? It's amazing. It would be amazing. So these are kind of just the little tips that I have, and really I appreciate all the tips and all the other comments that have come through on this show as well today. It's been great. It's these are things that affect us. So these are things that we are faced with every day. So it's important that we tap into it, get ideas, and just keep going. No matter what it is. Okay. All right. I will, if there are any more comments, we can kind of talk about them a little bit, but it's getting to time and I like to stick to my time. I'm trying to be very, very good with sticking to time. So as you step into this week, guys, my last little note. Thank you. Hi, Shola. How you doing? And Faith, I saw you as well. Good evening. How you guys doing? As we step into yes, prepare for your real life before you go on social media. Yeah, Shola, yes, you made it. Yes, Bukola, exactly. Prepare for your real life before you go on social media. It helps you. It arms you. It arms your mind. It helps get you prepared for the life that we face out there. So it's important. So guys, go into this week. Step into this week with your head lifted up. Step into this week knowing that you can accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. Step into this week knowing that if you keep your faith, if you take actions with your faith, you will achieve what you want to achieve. Step into this week knowing that everyone is on a different lane. Thanks, Bukola. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Step into this week knowing that everyone is on a different lane and everyone is going for their medals. Whether anyone is whether anyone is ahead of you, that's not the problem. The issue is they're going to go for their own medal. You are going to go for your own medal. So keep that in mind. And when you keep that in mind, guys, you will see your life calmer. When you keep that in mind, you will see yourself doing the best, being your best you, and not trying to copy other people. You know, so it's very, very important that we tap into these. Thank you so much for all the hearts and all the love. Thank you so, so much. I really appreciate it. Lorraine says it's a good reminder to stay in your lane. Thanks for the video. Thank you so much. Have a good week, all of you. Thank you so much. And as always, as I like to end, I am rooting for your rise all the way. I love you lots. Love you lots. I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do about that part. I'm going to love you, love you, love you, love you. And have a beautiful, beautiful week. Make it count. Make your week count. And just go out there and be your very, very best. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you that have joined me on this show. I don't take any of you for granted. I really do mean it. I don't take any of you for granted. I really, really appreciate it. So go out there, be blessed, have fun, be yourself, and just enjoy your time. Enjoy your life because it's important. Thank you so much, Yemisi. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Faith says have a lovely week all. So Faith is saying everyone to have a lovely week. Thank you so much, Faith. And thank you so much for all the comments and all the participation. That's what the Chatting with Chichi show is all about. So I really, really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. So take care, guys. I'll talk to you later. Let's go and smash this week. That's the word. Yeah. Let's go smash this week. Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you. Oh, T, you just joined, so you're gonna watch the replay. Thank you so much. Love you loads. Thank you. Thank you so much, Yemisi. Love you guys. Sister Monica, thank you so much. Love you guys too. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you so much. And Olayomi as well. Thank you so much. And thanks for sharing as well. Thank you, T. How are you? Thank you so much, guys, for sharing. Have a great evening, guys. Have a great evening. I love you. See you later. Bye.